Good morning, students. In the previous three videos, I discussed about neighborhood services. In these neighborhood services, there are different type of work. We cannot do everything ourselves. We need help of many people to carry out our daily activities. And we are lucky to have so many people who help us. Each one does something useful for people in the community. So today I will start lesson number 6, that is people who help us. In this lesson we will learn and discuss about some people who help us in our everyday life. The work that people do to earn a living is called profession or occupation. In our society, there are many types of professions, and different professional people provide us different services according to our need. So let us learn about some of the people who help us. The first is mechanic. If there's any problem with the vehicle, where do we go? We go to the mechanic. A mechanic is a person who repairs our motor, scooter, car and other vehicles. He uses screwdrivers, jacks, spanners and various other instruments to repair the vehicle. So in case of any problem with our vehicle, we go to the mechanic. We cannot go anywhere else. No one else can repair our vehicle except for mechanic, because mechanic is trained for this purpose only. A mechanic is trained to repair the vehicles. The mechanic knows the functioning of the vehicle. So he is the person who is trained to repair the vehicle. So in case of any fault, any problem with our vehicle, we go to the mechanic. Next is teacher. A teacher teaches in schools, colleges and in universities. They educate young children. They give us knowledge and values to lead a better life and to achieve something in our life. They help us to achieve our goals. They help us to fulfill our dreams, our aspirations by giving us knowledge, by telling us so many things and by giving us good values. They are our mentors when we are in school or in college. Then doctor. As we have also discussed in the previous lesson, doctors are considered as gods on earth, because in case of any problem related to our health, we go to a doctor only. And the doctor is the person who is trained to treat us. He gives us treatment, medicines, and they tell us how to be healthy and how to take care of our health. So in case of any sickness, injury, anything related to our health, we go to a doctor. Then nurses are also there. When we go to a hospital, the doctor treats us, doctors prescribe medicine for us, and if the problem is serious, if the patient has to be admitted in the hospital, then nurses are there to take care of the patient. So nurses also play a very important role. Then policemen. We have discussed in the previous lesson also. The policeman maintains law and order. They keep our neighborhood and they keep our society safe. They are the person who take care of the security of our state, town, cities, village or wherever we live. They ensure safety of senior citizens also. Okay, so policemen are the people who keep our neighborhood safe from robbers, thieves, bad people and unwanted elements. Without policemen, we will not feel safe. They maintain law and order. Then traffic policeman. Traffic policeman is the person who controls the traffic. And if without traffic police, if the traffic police is not there, there would be total chaos all around. Traffic jams would be there. Okay, so traffic police is the person who controls the traffic. Then potter. Potter makes earthen pots and vessels from wet mud and clay. He makes them on a potter's wheel. You must have seen that round thing on which the potters makes pots and other things. That is called a potter's wheel. He makes pots, earthen lamps, जिसको हम हिंदी में दिया बोलते हैं. We lit diyas on Diwalis. So he makes pots, earthen lamps and various other things on potter's wheel. Then fireman. As discussed in the previous lesson also, fireman is the person who puts out fire when it breaks out. They put out fire and they save people from fire. Then musician. A musician is a person who entertains us by playing music. There are so many instruments and different people play different kind of instruments. So person playing any kind of instrument or singing is or composing music is known as musician. So we listen to the music and they entertain us. Then dancer. A dancer again entertains us by his or her dance. There are different kinds of classical dances. There are folk dances, there are western dances. A person who is trained to perform is a dancer and they entertain us by their dance. Magician. Magician, as you all know, जिसको हिंदी में जादूगर कहते हैं. Magician is a person who does magic tricks and the magician also entertains us. Okay. Then besides these, there are so many other people also who help us in our day-to-day life. There are a lot of other occupations also, like farmer. Farmer grows vegetables, fruits, cereals, rice, etc. The food we eat, where does the food we eat come from? The food we eat comes from fields. And who grows food in these fields? The farmer. So the food and fruits we eat, they are all grown by farmer. So farmer is also very helpful. Without food we cannot survive and the food we eat is grown by farmers. Then banker. Banker is a person who works in a bank. And as I have already told you that bank is the place where we keep our money, where our money is safe. We keep our money, other valuables like jewelry, important papers also in bank. So banker is a person who works in a bank. Then engineer. An engineer designs and builds roads, bridges, dams, etc. The houses where we live, the roads on which we travel, there are other big factories, big buildings, dams, all these things. First, their design is made, and the person who makes their design is known as an architect. So first the architect makes the design, he prepares the design, and then engineer, with the help of so many other people, the engineer builds these roads, dams, bridges, big multi-story buildings, flats, etc. Okay, so along with the engineer is not the only person who builds. Along with engineer supervises everything. With engineer there are masons, there are plumbers, there are electricians. Okay, because when a building or anything is made, so many people are involved, there are so many aspects, so a number of people are involved. So engineer is the person who looks after the construction of all these things, and architect is the person who designs the buildings. Then apart from these, there are so many other people who help us in our daily activities, like postman. A postman is a person who brings letters, parcels to our home. Tailor, the clothes we wear. From where do we get these clothes? The dresses which we wear is stitched by the tailor. We go to a market, we buy clothes and then we get it stitched, or we buy ready. Even if we buy ready-made clothes from the market, they are stitched somewhere, so they are stitched by the tailor. So tailor is a person who stitches our cloth. Then the shoes, the footwear we wear, if it breaks or if something happens to it, we get it repaired. And a cobbler is the person who mends and repairs our shoes. Then the milkman. The milkman brings milk to our doorstep. People buy milk from the market also, and milkman is also there. He brings milk to our home. Then the bus or the van through which you come to this school, it is driven by a person, and the person who drives the bus or van is known as the bus driver. Okay, so the van or bus does not come on its own. It is driven by someone. So the person who drives is known as driver. Then carpenter, the furniture we use in the school, the furniture on which you sit in this school, it's all made up of wood. And so the person who makes furniture and other useful things from wood is known as a carpenter. Then the clothes we wear. From where do we get this cloth? The cloth is woven by weaver. He weaves cotton or silk into cloth, and then we use this cloth in making our dress. Then blacksmith is there. Blacksmith is the person who makes and repairs things made of iron. Then washerman is there. Our clothes get dirty, so washerman is there to wash our cloth. Then goldsmith. Goldsmith makes ornaments from golds. Then barber is there. Barber who gives us a haircut. So the barber is also very useful. Then vendors are there, like fruit seller, vegetable seller, greengrocer. So they are also they also play a very important role. They are also very helpful because they sell different things. Then garbage collector. Garbage collector collects garbage from our homes and streets. Just imagine if the garbage collector does not collect the garbage. What will happen? Just imagine what will happen if the garbage matlab kooda. So just imagine if the garbage is not collected daily. We cannot think of that situation. If the garbage is not collected every day, it will keep on accumulating. Then what will happen? It will lead to spread of infectious diseases. It will cause foul smell also. Then it will become very difficult for us to live in that area. So garbage collector is also very important. Garbage collector comes to our home and collects the garbage from homes and streets. So in this way, there are many more people whom we have not discussed here, but they play a very important role in our day-to-day life. Like we go out, when if we have to go from one place to another, we go by auto rickshaw or by rickshaw. So the people who drive auto rickshaw or rickshaw, they are also very important, isn't it? So there are so many people who play a very important role to carry out our daily activities, and we are definitely lucky to have these people in our life. We cannot imagine our life without the help of these people. Okay, now there are some people who make their hobby into their profession. These are the people like who are a person is banker, a doctor, a teacher, farmer, or you can say engineer, fireman, policeman, traffic police. These are professionals. This is the work which they do, is their profession or their occupation. Okay, there are some people who make their hobby into their profession. Now hobby, what do you understand by hobby? Hobby is something that you do regularly for pleasure in your free time, in your leisure time. Hobby is something which pleases you when you do it. Doing something which gives you happiness. So there are people who make their hobby into their profession. For example, musician. Somebody loves to play music, loves to play a particular instrument, or loves to sing, or loves to dance, and firstly they do it as their hobby, and after a period of time they make it their profession because they love doing it. So some people make their hobby into their profession, like a singer sings songs, a sitar player plays sitar, a guitar player plays guitar. There are so many instruments. So the person playing any instrument, he or she loves playing it, and after a certain period of time that person makes it into as his profession. Sports person plays the sport he or she loves. So that is, sports is his or her hobby. So these are the people who make their hobby into their profession. So we have seen that there are so many people in the society who help us in performing different tasks, who help us in our day-to-day life, who help us to carry our day-to-day activities. Now, people of the village and people of the city, they help one another. Like farmer grows crops in fields, and fields are not there in the city. Fields are in the villages only. So farmer works in a village. Okay. So but the people living in a city, they also need food. So they get food from there only. So people in the city and people of the village, they help each other. They help one another. Now we cannot survive without the help of others. So different type of people do different type of work. Okay, so the work they do is their profession or occupation, and each profession needs a special type of training or skill. Everyone cannot be a farmer. People think that maybe it is very easy to grow crops, but it is not so. It is not easy to grow farms because every occupation needs special training, special skill, and there are so many technicalities involved. While growing crops, we should know when to sow the seeds, how to look after the plants, when to put water, what all medicine it requires, what all pesticides should be put to keep the insects away. Similarly, anyone cannot become a doctor, anyone cannot become an engineer. Doctors, engineers, they go through very rigorous training. So each occupation needs a special type of training or skill. Thus, we can say that no work is big or small. Without these people, we will not be able to live in comfort. And we should always respect the work of each other. We cannot say that I am doing something very big, another person is doing very insignificant work. No, it is not so. Each work is important. The person mending a shoe, you can say, he sits on the roadside, you can say, oh, ये तो बहुत छोटा सा काम है. But if your shoe breaks, you cannot mend it on your own. You have to go to a cobbler only. So no work is big or small, and each work is very important. So I'll stop here today. This lesson is almost over. In the next lesson, in the next class, we will do the exercises. Thank you, children.